have finished our budget, you should have completed the expected, which is a guess, an estimate, or a hypothesis of what you think a single adult spends on these things in a month. Then what we did is we did some research and we found the real actual amount of money an adult spends on these things per month. Okay? And we made some choices, and some people's might be different than other people. So down at the bottom here, at the actual budget, I see there's some calculation going on. It has the total income in green because that's positive. That's the amount of money I'm making. Savings is in orange because that's not money that I'm spending. It's money that I set aside to spend later. And expenses is the total money I spend. And this right here in red, difference, that tells me the amount of money I have left over. So the way I was living, the amount of groceries I buy, buying a car, the rent that I pay for, it means every month I don't have enough money. So my question is right here, when it's $191 and it's red, my final budget, is that in debt? Am I in debt or do I have savings? This is my question for you guys. Am I in debt or do I have savings? So here's the amount of money I made, $1,528. I had to spend $1,719. Here is the difference. Is that debt or savings? Yes, you are correct, Angela and Chi. I am in debt. I am not making enough money to survive. We do not want to be in debt. That means I am spending more money than the amount of money I earn or make. So I'm going to have to go back through my budget and look, I don't even have any money to make savings. And I'm going to have to make some changes to my lifestyle. And you guys might have to do this too. So I'm going to show you some options. One option I have is I could get rid of my car. Maybe what I do is I'm not going to drive a car. Instead, I'm going to ride the bus. A bus pass per month is $30. So instead of paying $190 a month for my car, I'm going to pay $30 to take the bus. Then I don't have to do car insurance either. So let's see what happens there. If I got rid of my car, now I have $179 extra. Is that savings or is that debt? Now that I got rid of my car, now I have savings. That is correct. So what I could do now with that extra money is maybe every month I'm going to put $100 aside to start saving for a car. Oops. I'm going to type car. And now I still have $79 extra, and I'm going to put that towards emergency. So now okay, so that was one change I made. A different change, let me change something else. Maybe what I decide to change instead of the car is I decide to change where I'm living. My mortgage and rent is $650. I really want a car, so I'm gonna say instead of living in the apartment where I have to pay $650 a month, I'm gonna change the apartment that I'm living in, and I'm actually gonna live here where it says it's $350 a month because I really want that car. So let's see what happens to my budget if I change my rent, if I live somewhere else. My tab, what I did was I changed this amount, $650. I changed it to $350 a month. for rent instead of $650 because I decided to live somewhere else. And at the bottom, I saw I have $109 extra every month, and I'm going to put it in savings. Zara, you have to change. You cannot end up in debt. So you're going to have to change things if it's red. If it's green, you don't have to change it. Debt is very bad. You don't want to be in debt. Another example, maybe, you know what? I want to live in a nice apartment. I want to have a car. So I'm just going to work more instead. So I'm going to change my income. Instead of working at Target, I'm going to work for Step Up. So I now need to go back to the income calculator. And let's see what happens if I work for a place instead that pays me $12 an hour. I'm going to work for a place that pays me $14.25 an hour. Come on, $14.25. 80 hours a week. So I work at a more challenging job. 892 times 2. So let's see, if I make $892 twice a month, do I have enough money to live in the fancy apartment or fancier and have a car? 892 times 2. Let's see. Oops. Remember, the times has to be the star. Okay, let's see. I do. If I work that job, but I have to get the job, I would have enough money to live my life that way. Okay, but I'm going to put it back to the original. Okay, so those are some examples of some changes you can make to your lifestyle so you're not in debt. You need to know this because this is the final part of the project. The final part of the project is down at the bottom. You click on reflection questions, and we need to reflect on this process. This is what's worth the summative points. In order to earn full credit, your responses need to be in a complete sentence, start with a capital letter, and end with a period. Some of them just need a sentence. For example, which expenses were more than you expected? Well, actually, groceries. Groceries cost more than I thought they would. What was less than what I expected? Water. Water. Oops, what just happened? My screen flipped on me. Okay. Water cost less than I thought they would. Yours can be different. You probably had different expectations than me. I'm just showing this so you know what a complete sentence looks like. Did I have savings, acquire debt, or broke even? At first, I was in debt, but then after I made changes, I had extra money for savings. Describe any changes you made so that you could spend less money. So for example, I had to change what type of apartment I'm renting, or I was not able to buy a car. So what I ended up doing in the end was I chose a job where I could make $14.25 an hour instead of $12 an hour, so I could still afford an apartment and a car. The greatest expense, that means what was I spending the most money on? I was spending the most money on a car. What surprised me? I was surprised that apartments could be so cheap when you share it with other people. What questions do I have? How do I pay for college? How does this change my plans for the future? I now know I need to plan for how I spend my money. If I do not plan, I risk being in debt. Okay. So I'm going to delete these now, but that would earn a student an 8 out of 8. So what you're going to do today, I'm going to repeat the directions. You're going to respond to the reflection question.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Does the differences have to be green too? At the
No,
bottom?
no. Good question. This
Okay.
only C46 needs to be green.
Okay.
That's because C46 is what it is in real life. B is our guess. And then D is how far off our guess was from the actual thing. So for example, a student thought that rent would be $4,000 a month. That was his guess, but the real cost was $650. So this difference right here tells the student that they were way off. They thought rent would cost $3,350 more a month than it actually does. So this column D is just telling us how off or how correct our guesses were. The place where you need, that was a great question, Zara. I'm so happy you asked it. You need to be green or white in C46. C46 needs to be green or white. It cannot be a negative number. It needs to be 0 or more. Great question. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the directions. You are responding to the reflection questions today, and you are making sure that your budget is that you have savings, that you're not in debt. This is the summative part, okay? Any more questions about the assignment for today? Okay, one last thing. Some of you have missed things. Some students weren't here, so you might not have a number. Say you don't have a number in internet. Say you missed the day we calculated the price of internet. If that's you, you would go back to the videos. I posted videos for budget project, and you see all of these, I tell you the amount. Oh, here's a 5-minute video on internet. This will tell me the cost of internet. So if you were gone a day, which I think you caught up with me, so you're good. Angela, you and I caught up. I think it might just be Yahia. If you don't have anything filled out, if you're missing something, go back to the videos for budget project and it will tell you to write in the box.